Hello everyone, and welcome to my BNB24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The latest chapter of this expansive drama, quintessentially the bold and the beautiful, commences beneath the bright glow of Los Angeles County Women's Correctional Facility, where Luna Nozawa's existence has disintegrated into a cacophony of imprisonment, remorse, and incessant murmurs of treachery. The formerly lively design intern who captivated Forrester Creations now resides behind steel bars, her existence diminished to frigid walls and even colder gazes. As the episode commences, the spectator promptly perceives the palpable tension. Beyond the prison gates, two women, Poppy Nozawa and Sheila Carter, who are starkly dissimilar, are uniting for an unforeseen cause in Los Angeles. For the first time, the unconventional mother and the infamous criminal mastermind are united by a singular objective: to extricate Luna from incarceration, by any means required. Poppy's desperation has transformed into obsession. The absence of Luna has diminished the luster of her bohemian existence, and the guilt incessantly torments her every second of consciousness. She continues to visit her daughter weekly, and with each visit, Luna's eyes, previously brimming with defiance and vitality, appear increasingly vacant. Beyond the glass divider, Luna implores for absolution, not merely for her actions but for transforming into everything she vowed she would not become. The allegations against her, aggravated assault, attempted murder, and possession of an unlicensed firearm, arose from the violent incident at the Cliff home, a night that irrevocably fractured the Finnegan-Forrester circle. However, Poppy's thoughts have started to spiral. She cannot accept that Luna merits imprisonment for her errors. Her mother instinct, distorted by denial and affection, now conveys a singular notion with greater intensity than the others: extract her. Sheila Carter has been stealthily residing in the vicinity of Bill Spencer's estate following her remarkable recuperation from life-threatening gunshot injuries. Initially considered deceased and subsequently rehabilitated by saving Steffy Forrester's life, Sheila has been existing under a veil of conditional trust, permitted proximity to her son Finn but never wholly accepted. The Forrester family has maintained a distance from her, and Steffy's apprehension has intensified because to Luna's violent outburst, which reflected Sheila's own tumultuous history. In this episode, Sheila resurfaces unexpectedly. She visits Poppy unexpectedly, finding her in her small apartment amidst unpaid bills and partially melted candles. Their meeting is an unstable amalgamation of sorrow, strategy, and manipulation. Poppy first adopts a protective stance, attributing part of Luna's incarceration on Sheila's actions. However, Sheila, always a psychological strategist, modulates her voice and seamlessly adopts an empathetic demeanor. She tells Poppy of her own experience with having a kid removed, acknowledging the torment of being labeled unfit or dangerous. With a disquieting composure, Sheila utters the transformative words, "I can assist you in retrieving Luna." The subsequent sequence is a bewildering collage of hushed telephone conversations, counterfeit documents, and a scheme so elaborate it is nearly cinematic. Sheila acquaints Poppy with a former associate, an ex-convict nurse called Dana Reeves, who is currently employed at the prison infirmary. Dana is indebted to Sheila for a past kindness, when Sheila feigned her own demise and required illicit medical supplies. Dana serves as their internal connection. The strategy: orchestrate a medical crisis, fabricate Luna's relocation to a secure hospital, and exploit that opportunity to make her vanish. However, Poppy, despite her desperation, is not a recidivist. Her conscience conflicts with the logistics. "By proceeding with this, we jeopardize everything," she murmurs to Sheila in a tense nocturnal setting. Sheila smirks, her eyes shimmering with a blend of maternal intuition and deliberate threat. "Beloved, all has already been jeopardized. The distinction is in my understanding of how to achieve victory." At Forrester Creations, Finn and Steffy engage in a subdued argument on Luna's destiny. Finn, conflicted between his medical oath and his emotional turmoil as a paternal figure, contends that Luna's punishment is excessively severe, particularly considering her precarious mental condition. Steffy, still tormented by the recollection of Luna aiming a firearm at her, remains resolute. "She nearly caused my demise, Finn. I cannot merely feign that it did not occur. Finn's shoulders droop beneath the burden of his conflicting allegiances. A framed photograph of Hayes occupies a position in Finn's office alongside a legal pad inscribed with hospital contacts, evidence that Finn's thoughts are still racing with potential medical solutions for Luna, despite his inability to assist her legally. In the prison, Luna's cellmate, a tough lady named Roxy, cautions her that an impending event is approaching. "You are attracting attention, young lady." Luna, emaciated and agitated, is unaware that her mother is orchestrating her liberation, nor that Sheila Carter's fingerprints are evident throughout the scheme. One evening, Dana discreetly places a little vial of sedatives beneath Luna's supper tray. Luna hesitates but ultimately complies, believing it to be a component of a mental health assessment. Subsequently, she collapses in the prison yard, encircled by guards urgently calling for medical assistance. The following morning, turmoil ensues throughout Los Angeles. Reports indicate that Luna Nozawa has experienced a sudden cardiac event while incarcerated and is being sent to the county hospital. Poppy, observing from home, quakes upon hearing her daughter's name mentioned in the program. Sheila's strategy is underway. A dark vehicle labeled Medical Transfer Unit 29A comes at the prison gates, its interior designed not for delivery but for evasion. Dana, masquerading as an EMT, assesses Luna's pulse and conveys the signal. Two men in surgical scrubs, Sheila's hired operatives from a former clandestine clinic, load Luna inside, sealing her destiny as the gate clangs open. Unexpectedly, Finn, the diligent physician, is summoned for an emergency consultation at the same hospital where Luna is expected to arrive. Her absence from the official transfer manifest triggers his instincts. He contacts the prison warden, only to be informed that Luna departed 30 minutes prior. He subsequently contacts Steffy, his voice trembling. "She has departed, Steffy. Luna has departed." Poppy and Sheila's operation encounters difficulties when a traffic roadblock necessitates a detour. The atmosphere within the van is stifling. Luna, semi-conscious, utters her mother's name, prompting Poppy to dissolve into tears. "We are nearly there, my dear." "Mother is here for you," Sheila retorts, "maintain your composure." One error and this entire endeavor will be compromised. However, despite her severe remarks, Sheila's demeanor softens as she observes the reunion, a fleeting manifestation of her own regrets seen on her face. At dusk, Luna is concealed in a deserted medical warehouse on the periphery of town, connected to N4 as she regains awareness. The meeting between mother and daughter is simultaneously wonderful and terrible. Poppy incessantly caresses Luna's face, murmuring, you're free," as Luna weeps, horrified, comprehending the severity of the situation. "Mother, we cannot proceed with this," she exhales. However, Sheila advances. Simultaneously, Bill Spencer obtains an anonymous notification regarding the irregularities in the prison transfer. While observing surveillance footage from his office, his jaw clenches upon seeing a familiar face among the concealed medical personnel, Sheila Carter. His anger is explosive. "Sheila is responsible for this," he growls, instructing Justin Barber to deploy his private detectives. If Poppy is assisting her, they will both face consequences. The following morning, Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes accompany Steffy at the Cliff home. Ridge is astonished that Luna would have evaded capture, while Taylor, ever the psychologist, cautions that deeper issues may be at play. This matter extends beyond Luna. This concerns Poppy's incapacity to acknowledge consequences. And if Sheila is involved, she trails off, sharing a serious glance with Steffy. We may be confronting an issue far more significant than a jailbreak. Finn hastens to identify Luna's medical bracelet number and ultimately discovers a surveillance photograph of the van traversing Griffith Park. He contacts Bill, hesitantly collaborating. The two men, bonded by their mutual guardianship of Steffy and Hayes, commence monitoring the van's trajectory, oblivious to the fact that Luna and Poppy are currently sequestered with Sheila in a safe house previously utilized by a criminal accomplice from Sheila's history. Within the safe house, Luna commences her disintegration. She experiences hallucinations of her trial, perceiving the reverberation of the judge's voice, the striking of the gavel, and Steffy's emotional testimony. She charges her mother with reproaching her once more. "You did not liberate me," Luna laments. "You ensnared me." Poppy's collapse is immediate, her hands tremble, her voice falters, and she implores Luna to comprehend. Frustrated, Sheila shatters a glass on the wall, exclaiming, "Enough. If you both wish to self-destruct, so be it, but you will not involve me." The episode culminates in mayhem as police sirens howl in the distance. Sheila seizes her firearm, Poppy implores her to relinquish it, while Luna, quaking, interposes herself between them. "Cease the bloodshed," she implores. In a dramatic turn of events, Luna seizes the weapon and discharges a warning shot into the ceiling, resulting in rubble cascading down. The scene transitions to black as the police converge, Bill's car halting abruptly outside, with Finn exiting alongside him. The ensuing turmoil is quintessential bold and beautiful disorder. Luna is forcibly removed in tears, Poppy is restrained and lamenting, and Sheila eludes capture through a rear escape, vanishing into the night like the specter she has perpetually been. The camera focuses on Poppy's tormented expression as she cries out her daughter's name, reverberating over the black Los Angeles sky. By the conclusion of the episode, Luna is in captivity once more, however, she is no longer alone. The audience discovers through a muted dialogue between Finn and Steffy that Luna may have endured significant trauma from her confinement and subsequent escape, prompting Taylor to suggest her transfer to a psychiatric rehabilitation institution instead of returning her to prison. In a surprising turn of events, Steffy consents. Perhaps we should attempt compassion this time," she murmurs. Finn gazes at her, his eyes shimmering with relief. "That is all I have ever desired." In the concluding scene, as Luna reclines in a hospital bed, her wrists still restrained yet her expression tranquil, Poppy observes from behind the observation window, weeping softly. Sheila, concealed in the corridor's shadows, murmurs softly, "A mother's love invariably discovers a path." The screen turns to dark, leaving viewers in suspense regarding the potential new accusations against Poppy for facilitating Luna's escape. Has Sheila genuinely vanished, or is she orchestrating the subsequent stage of her elaborate deception? Most disturbingly, will Luna ever attain redemption, or has the Nozawa name been irrevocably cursed by chaos? The subsequent morning in Los Angeles emerges overcast, a type of dawn that seemed to burden the city itself. The news has proliferated across all networks: prison escape foiled, designer intern Luna Nozawa recaptured following dramatic standoff. Headlines include Luna's tear-streaked mugshot, footage of Poppy being escorted away in handcuffs, and conjecture on the potential involvement of the notorious Sheila Carter once more. While media congregate outside the county courtroom, the genuine turmoil simmers behind closed doors, within the offices of Forrester Creations, in Bill Spencer's penthouse, and in the sterile hallways of University Hospital, where the repercussions manifest like an exposed wound. At Forrester Creations, Steffy Forrester occupies the CEO office, enveloped in palpable anxiety. Ridge and Carter Walton stand behind her, both perusing the most recent updates from legal counsel. Steffy's tone is both frigid and delicate, she endeavors to convey fortitude despite the weight of the circumstances bearing down on her. "We will not permit this scandal to tarnish the company," she asserts, removing a stray strand of hair from her face. Luna's designs and projects are all suspended until this trial concludes. However, Ridge, perpetually the father attempting to navigate tumultuous situations, exhales heavily. "Steffy is still a child. She committed a significant error, however we cannot. She attempted to murder me, father." Steffy erupts, the anguish surging like corrosive acid. "This matter does not pertain to compassion. It pertains to ensuring the safety of our family." Ridge casts a glimpse at the window overlooking Los Angeles, his reflection distorted in the glass. Nevertheless, he whispers, Finn remains supportive of her in some capacity. "That will not dissipate." Steffy exhales hard. He will ultimately have to make a choice. At University Hospital, Finn is anxiously pacing the corridor outside Luna's new ward. His white coat drapes carelessly from his shoulders, with his fatigue evident in every contour of his visage. Luna lies asleep within, her hands bound not by cold steel but by soft medical restraints designed to safeguard her from self-harm. As Taylor Hayes approaches him, holding a clipboard, her tone is soft. What is her current condition? Finn remains unobservant. She will recuperate physically. However, in terms of mental state? I am uncertain. She harbors fears of all entities, her mother, Sheila, and herself. Taylor nods gravely. And you? She inquires gently. What is your position in this matter? Finn finally catches her gaze, anguish evident in his features. I am uncertain of my own identity. I dedicated my life to demonstrating that I was not Sheila Carter's kid, that I could embody her antithesis. The girl I endeavored to assist, whom I believed I could rescue, is now being exploited by her. My entire existence resembles a distorted reflection of my mother's turmoil. Taylor gently rests a palm on his arm. Finn, this is not your responsibility. Luna's deeds, Poppy's desperation, and Sheila's manipulation are all choices beyond your control. The current priority is your subsequent actions. At that moment, in a neglected area of East LA, Sheila Carter occupies an abandoned diner booth, the faint light reflecting off her mobile screen. Her fingers tap in a steady cadence as she peruses local news articles regarding Luna's arrest, her smirk becoming increasingly pronounced with each word. Unfortunate little Poppy, she murmurs. Lacked the fortitude for this. However, beneath the cynicism resides a glimmer of an alternative emotion, possibly remorse, possibly yearning. She murmurs to herself, I did not undertake this for you, Luna. I accomplished it for him. For Finn. Sheila harbors the conviction that liberating Luna may restore her standing in Finn's perception, demonstrating her capacity as a mother willing to sacrifice everything for her offspring. In Bill Spencer's office, stress simmers under the surface like molten lava. Bill stands beside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Los Angeles skyline in the background, his jaw clenched as he listens to Justin Barber's report. We have received confirmation, Justin states. Sheila Carter orchestrated the fraudulent medical transfer. Poppy was the primary figure, although Sheila's fingerprints are evident throughout this situation. Moreover, she has disappeared once more. No trail, no cameras. Bill pounds his fist on the desk. Certainly, she has departed. That woman can become elusive at will. But not this time. He pivots abruptly towards Justin. I desire to interrogate every contact, every associate, and every disreputable individual who has collaborated with her. I want them thoroughly pressured until we ascertain her whereabouts. And when we do, his voice descends into a menacing growl. She will not receive another opportunity to jeopardize my family. Subsequently, in an unexpected development, Will Spencer enters the office. The youngest Spencer has matured rapidly, now toughened by the turmoil that has beset his family. Father, he states softly, extending a newspaper. It indicates that Luna may be transferred to a psychiatric facility rather than returning to prison. Bill's demeanor briefly softens as he reads. Satisfactory, he murmurs. Perhaps she will ultimately receive the assistance she requires. However, that does not justify her actions. If Poppy believes she can escape this situation, she is mistaken. Later that evening, the camera shifts to Poppy Nozawa in an interview room, her hands quivering as Detective Sanchez pushes a folder across the table. You participated in a coordinated prison escape, Ms. Nozawa. Do you comprehend the allegations against you? Poppy's voice falters as she attempts to articulate her explanation. I did not intend to harm anyone, I merely sought to provide my daughter with an opportunity. You cannot comprehend the anguish of witnessing your child decay in a prison cell. Sanchez comes forward, his tone incisive yet not rude. Negative, Ms. Nozawa. I fail to comprehend your decision to collaborate with Sheila Carter, a lady whose criminal record is extensive. Poppy's complexion pales. She assured me of a miracle, she murmurs. Luna ultimately regains consciousness at the hospital. Her speech is raspy, her recollections disjointed. Where is Mother? She whispers. Finn is present, his gaze weary yet kind. She is currently undergoing interrogation. She endeavored to assist you, Luna, but it exceeded reasonable limits. Luna's tears flow uncontrollably as she comprehends the extent of her mother's sacrifices. She accomplished it on my behalf, Luna murmurs. As Sheila indicated she would. Finn tenses at the reference to Sheila. You no longer need to contemplate her, he asserts decisively. You are secure now. However, Luna shakes her head, her voice quavering. No, I am not. She remains present. She informed me that she had not yet completed her task. Transition to Sheila, navigating the desert at night, her hair tousled by the breeze while she converses on a burner phone. Inform Poppy that she will be all right. I have devised a plan. Her interlocutor, a male with a gravelly voice whose identity remains unknown, replies, Are you certain about this, Sheila? The police are ubiquitous. Sheila smirks. Since when has that ever deterred me? She terminates the call and gazes at the horizon. One final act, Luna, she murmurs to the void. A final endeavor to alter his perception of me. As time progresses, the show explores the profound emotional devastation that remains. Steffy visits the hospital ostensibly to assess security, although ultimately observes Luna through the glass for an extended duration in silence. The girl appears exceedingly delicate, in stark contrast to the menace Steffy recalls. Taylor accompanies her, whispering, Do you perceive the effects of trauma, Steffy? This is not malevolent. This is anguish. Steffy's eyes brim with tears, her defenses crumbling. Why does forgiving her seem like a betrayal of my own self? Taylor exhales gently. Love obfuscates the distinction between right and wrong until they become indistinguishable. Concurrently, Poppy is granted bail, facilitated by an unexpected supporter, Finn, who discreetly petitions the court, contending that her mental condition and urgency warrant consideration. Upon exiting the police station, her initial words are, Where is Luna? Finn accompanies her to the hospital but cautions, You may see her, but you are prohibited from discussing Sheila. She is delicate. The reunion between mother and daughter is poignant. Luna weeps uncontrollably at Poppy's entrance, prompting Poppy to drop beside her bed, lamenting, I'm so sorry, baby. I merely sought to rectify it. Luna grips her hand and murmurs, We are both fractured, mother. As the camera withdraws, Finn observes them, his look conflicted between compassion and trepidation. For a little moment, the observer perceives his reflection, and positioned behind him, subtle yet unmistakable, is Sheila observing from the corridor's shadows, her eyes shimmering, an enigmatic smile unfurling across her visage. The family is reunited, lingers in the atmosphere long after Sheila disappears from view. Within Luna's hospital room, monitors emit a consistent beeping sound as the girl succumbs to pharmaceutical slumber, her hand firmly grasping her mother's. Poppy is unable to cease revisiting the image of Sheila's eyes from that night in the van. Whenever she shuts her own, she perceives them radiating in the rearview mirror, part human, part animal. In a convoluted manner, Poppy is aware that their presence is contingent upon her. The inherent paradox characterizes life in Los Angeles. Individuals seldom remain entirely virtuous or wholly malevolent for an extended period.